Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so while looking through the beauty and culture data for 2026, a really fascinating shift jumped right out. Everywhere you look, nails are getting drastically shorter, yet somehow they're looking significantly more expensive. So let's deconstruct exactly what is happening here.
It really begs the question, right? Why are short nails suddenly everywhere? Let's dive into the research and uncover why a highly deliberate measurement known as the kitten nail has just utterly dominated our social media feeds and salon appointments this year.
Section 1. What exactly are kitten nails? Let's define the precise parameters of this 2026 trend.
The absolute crucial thing to understand here is the math. We are talking about exactly 1 to 3 millimeters of free edge extending past your fingertip. It literally mimics the tiny, softly curved claws of a kitten. It gives your hands an undeniable presence and elegance, but with absolutely zero of the structural complexity or hassle that comes with traditional long extensions.
The sources actually describe this vibe in the absolute best way, calling the kitten nail the nail equivalent of a cashmere roll neck. I love that. It really acts as the ultimate accessory for the whole quiet luxury aesthetic. You know, it's understated, it looks ridiculously expensive without having to shout about it, and it flatters literally everyone.
Moving on to Section 2, why they are viral. Let's look at the cultural drivers behind this massive moment.
Think about our day-to-day lives right now. We've had a massive return to hybrid working, and let's be honest, massive talons and a laptop keyboard just aren't exactly best friends. But beyond pure practicality, social media algorithms are heavily rewarding highly aesthetic, close-up lifestyle content. Kitten nails just photograph beautifully in those intimate, everyday frames, like a tight shot of you typing or simply holding an iced coffee, because they look totally pristine without stealing the show.
Section 3. Kitten versus generic short nails. Let's break down the precise differences.
Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't this just a short nail? Nope, there is a massive gulf here. Your average generic short nail often features inconsistent lengths from finger to finger, maybe an unfinished shape, and defaults to bare or even chipped polish. Kitten nails, on the other hand, rely on absolute precision. That 1 to 3 millimeter length has to be perfectly consistent across the board, deliberately shaped and beautifully finished. It's really the difference between an accident and a highly intentional choice.
Section 4. Best shapes and finishes. Here's how to actually make this minimal length work.
Because you have virtually no canvas to work with here, you are essentially sculpting on a micro scale to maximize that tiny free edge. Every single millimeter counts. So whether you go for the universally flattering soft oval or maybe a really modern architectural flat square, the shape has to be deliberately chosen. Even a micro oval looks absolutely incredible when it's filed perfectly.
Color-wise, things get really interesting and honestly kind of counterintuitive. You might think microscopic nails need to be completely invisible, but actually a deep, saturated burgundy or wine looks incredibly chic and confident at this length. Sheer, milky nudes are also great. What you absolutely want to avoid, though, is heavy glitter, dense chrome, or chunky 3D art. All of that completely overwhelms the precise 1 to 3 millimeter aesthetic and just destroys that understated luxury vibe we're going for.
All right, Section 5, getting the look at home. Here's the highly accessible 6-step guide.
The sources break this down into 6 specific steps you can do yourself. First up, you actually need to physically measure that 1 to 3 millimeters. Don't just eyeball it. Then, file in one direction. Step 3 is arguably the most critical. Check for visual consistency across all 10 of your fingers. That absolute uniformity is the real secret sauce here. After buffing and applying the right base, the final crucial step is to cap that tiny free edge. That seals everything in and prevents annoying tip welt.
Oh, and the research highlighted a genuinely fantastic pro tip. If you're using gel polish for this, you really have to remember that less is more. Thick gel just creates this weird, unnatural, bulky dome effect on such a small surface. Extremely thin layers are absolutely key to getting a natural look that prevents lifting and will easily last you a solid 3 to 4 weeks.
Section 6. Perfect for real life. Why this specific length just works everywhere.
The versatility of this trend is honestly unmatched. Think about it. Whether you're typing up a massive report in a corporate office, aggressively gardening over the weekend, or frantically trying to avoid snagging a luggage zipper at the airport, this length just exists flawlessly. You never have to be overprotective of your hands. They look just as chic and appropriate at a high-end wedding as they do when you're at the gym.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, the big takeaway is super clear. 2026 is all about swapping out sheer length for sharp, deliberate intentionality. But it does leave us with a pretty provocative question. If quiet luxury has miniaturized our beauty standards down to the literal millimeter, what happens when the pendulum inevitably swings back? Are we going to see a massive return to maximalism, or has the kitten nail permanently redefined what it actually means to look polished? Dive into the sources to explore more, and thanks so much for joining me.